Well, hey, Facebook, it's to you, Nap. And
Dr. Michael Gross. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us. It's a real treat to have you on this Sunday afternoon. And I hope wherever you are, the sun is shining. And just look at this. Spring will be here before you know it, and then summer, and then fall, and then back to winter. So let's focus on spring and summer. So thank you
we're
for
less
being here.
we're less than a month away from spring.
All right. And I want to talk about this. And I beat you to it. Little sibling rivalry. And this is a wonderful book called Healing the Holes in Your Soul. As you see, I'm having trouble adjusting it. There we go. And Healing the Holes in Your Soul is written by Youre. And it's all about her success from climbing out of the dungeon, shall we say, and out
Gutter.
into the sunlight. All right, out of the gutter into the sunlight. And it's a wonderful, marvelous story of inspiration, but a lot of knowledge and a lot of things we can all learn from. And even if you haven't gone through an abusive relationship, which all of us at one degree or another, whether we've been made fool of, bullied, or even worse, this is the book you need to read to give you lots of inspiration.
Thank you so much, Michael.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know that this is Michael's book, The Spiritual Primer. Had it not been for this book written by that man, the other book that he's holding would not have happened. He's an incredible man, and incredible spiritual coach, and so much more. And on that note, we're going to talk a little bit more about Michael, but I highly encourage everybody to start with this book. Michael's got a new one coming out, and either if you have this one, definitely read it. Read chapter 3 over and over again. And if you haven't got this one, make sure you get the next one, because he's working on the finishing touches on it, and pretty soon that's going to be available as well. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and, with respect for everybody's time, because it is a Sunday afternoon and a family day, I'm going to put the book down and go ahead and let you guys know a little bit more about Michael, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Here we go. We don't script this stuff. Sometimes we have technical issues. Sometimes we do really well. But we don't. The only thing we script is this little piece right here, right? And it's about Michael, and I want to make sure that he gets the credit for everything that he has learned and achieved, because he is a man of integrity and incredibly humble. And I just want to let everybody here know that on Sundays we do this because we want everyone else to also have the benefit of Michael's wisdom. It's every Sunday at 2:00, and we don't ever take it down. So it's always here. You can go scroll through our Facebook pages and you'll find the ones that we did last week or whatever, okay? And we encourage everybody to go ahead and leave comments. And we're asking right now for anybody to give feedback if you want it to be later on a Sunday, like maybe 4 or 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And I just thought I'd say that before I introduce Michael. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay, so here we go. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and a phenomenal teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the True Source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the True Source. I have never met a man with such integrity, honesty, and wisdom that I'm so privileged and honored to be working with now. He's changed my life in so many ways, and this is not scripted. I'm just saying from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful for Michael. And I'm so glad that you brought me in, that you've taken me under your wing to teach me the amazing things that you share with everyone who's open to listening. So I highly encourage everybody here to make sure you catch some of Michael's Sunday night messages, Sunday afternoon messages, or we'll also give you some numbers later at the end of this. What is this? Facebook Live, sorry. So that we can also connect with Michael on other things that he's also sharing, okay? He's not just a Sunday guy. He's got Tuesday and Saturday and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I did get off script, but I'm good at that sometimes. And getting back to the script, one more time, he remains humble, knowing the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. Michael lives in Lakewood, Washington, and has just launched his nonprofit. And I'm going to let Michael take a minute to tell us more about his nonprofit, the name, and whatever you choose to share.
Thank you. The name of the nonprofit is the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And exactly what I've just said is what we're all about. And one of our pet projects right now is dealing with abused women, children, and men. When Spirit told me to put this together, the nonprofit, I said, all right. And I wasn't sure how it was to be used, but I learned the shortcut. Don't argue, just do it. So that's what I did. And then I met TU. And then TU honored me by helping show me what her life was all about. I'm struggling for words because it's kind of painful, and I admire her strength. And because she is a survivor of abuse, I decided that we would embrace that first. And then I was so impressed with her work and how she took on everything, and how I was honored to coach her and how she faced everything, that I asked her to be director of abuse. We're going to probably change that title because director of abuse doesn't sound too cool, but whatever it's going to end up being, but that is her position. And she's been helping me formulate and put together the nonprofit. So we're a 501c, and every week I tell you, yeah, we're working on this, we're working on that, and we are. It's a slow process only because we have so many other things we're doing. So for us, temporarily, this is partially part-time. But once our website is up and we begin to make ourselves more public, we'll be spending more and more time developing the International Institute of Self-Empowerment so we can help abused women and children. And I'll go into it a lot more later, but I want you to know we've done little vignettes when we launch it. I talk about how I founded it. Tio talks about that, and some of our other board of directors. So enough said about that, and we might as well go on to the main subject, and it's called Your Life Path, Part 2. And if we understand that, I would like all of us to reflect for a moment. And I talked up approximately the age of 12 or 13, somewhere around there. Don't hold me to the exact number. But those are the formative years. And those formative years is what makes an impression upon ourselves and upon our minds and thoughts and our behavior and our prejudices, our lack of prejudices, and how we feel. And also how we formulate the rest of our life, and having people work with us, and how we work with others, and how we communicate, even though we're children. And as time goes by, now we're 12 or 13. Now we're going into junior high, or some of us into high school. And we come to a point in life where we've lost our expression. In other words, we try to fit in, even if it's against our core issues. Because why? We don't want to be bullied, we want to be accepted. And those are the formative years, you are very conscious of your body and how you look and the way you dress and when people talk to you and how they talk to you. And I remember, oh my gosh, I was going out on a date and I had a zit. Well, it was right here. I thought it was as big as Mount Rainier in my mind. I was so embarrassed. But we kind of laugh at those things, but it was very important. And that also formulates our life path by how we're treated, how we feel about ourselves, how others treat us. And many of the lessons we've learned between 12 and let's say 18 or 19, we spend the rest of our lifetime either enhancing or undoing. Most of the time undoing, because we realize that we're more than someone else's opinion. But that's part of our life path. Because how are you going to know something? Well, you're not going to know it until you experience it. Yes, you can theorize it, you can read about it, but unless you embrace it and you feel it physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you're not going to understand it. And it can be very, very simple. Someone criticizes you, and wow, that's it. So for me, I had a geometry teacher. She looked to be 150. She was all gray haired. Well, when you're 13 or 14. That's what it looked like, and she taught by intimidation. That does not set well with me. And she would make fun of the girls, and they would cry and make fun of the guys, but, we don't cry, we're tough. Even though inside we're crying, we're very sensitive. Well, in New York State, you had to pass the grade, and had a marvelous D plus, A, B, C, D, D plus, really great. But whether even if you were an A plus, you had to pass the New York State Regents exam that was given by the state to show that in school you learn whatever the teacher is supposed to show you. And I think the passing grade was 55 or 56. I got 48 or 49. Whoopee. So now I'm intimidated, I'm embarrassed, I feel dumb. And what happens? So I have to go to summer school or repeat the class with the same teacher. That's not going to happen. So I went to summer school, had this marvelous teacher. This teacher was so clear, so concise. It was like you could look through water and you could see the bottom of the ocean. It was so unbelievably. I ended up getting a 98 in the course, and then in New York State Regents, it was a different exam, and I also got 97 on the final exam. What did it teach me? Not to be intimidated, not to be scared. However, those are part of our learning lessons. But those things up to the age of 18 or 19, we start to carry through in the rest of our life. So we have a lot of sensitivities. That's the age where you want to look and fit in all the time. The age where many people are called geeks or bullies or whatever. And we didn't realize that they were sometimes jealous of us, or they didn't want us to be part of the group because they were intimidated by us. But we don't think that way. But look at it today. We still want to fit in. We still want to be accepted. We don't want to be bullied. And we want to find some self worth. And our self worth goes out there to those friends and relatives and people that you meet. And we formulate that little bit of information that we learn from 12 to 20, 19, 20 into the rest of our lives. Well, what does that really prove? Nothing, but we didn't realize it. So, how many people right now in their 20s and 30s, or even older, 50s and 60s, want to fit in, want to be accepted? And, because of my spiritual path, lots of criticism, and I kept it under wraps. And finally, one day, I was talking to a friend, and she says, well, some people, are frightened or they don't understand you're a transformational coach. You shouldn't do that. And I said, you know what? Thank you. But I'm not hiding myself anymore. Because of their arrogance and judgmentalness, I will love them, but I will not hide under a rock anymore. Neither should you hide under a rock. Neither should you try to be invisible. You are unique in your own way. You are unique when you were born. You are unique when you were a fetus. You're unique when you were a cell. And you now are unique from the very first breath you took up to till the current age of your life. I want you to remember that. And you are uniquely different. And there was a phase that, I don't know about you, but I tried to fit in. And I always felt like a square peg in a round hole. I'm sure many of you that are listening to me right now feel like a square peg in a round hole. And because of all the things that you do in life, you have to look at your life path. What did you learn? What did you surrender? What did you bow down to? What did you hide from? And what did you use to succeed? These are very important things for you to consider and look at. And that's why I decided to do these series. I have a very dear friend, and he would poo-poo all the things I talk about on the spiritual basis. And after 5 years, he's still my friend, and he would poo-poo it, not pay attention, but we're friends. He said, I read some stuff. Everything you say is right. I went, duh, what took you so long? And we laughed. But that's important. I don't need the recognition. You know where I need the recognition? It's from the true source, that I'm on the right path, and my guides and angels, and my soul, and my oversoul. That's what I need to know, that I'm doing that. So I live by the law of right action and correct exchange. And do I do everything 100% correct or perfect? No. Do I try? Yes, I try very hard. And that's a message for all of you, because this time in our life, no matter what age you are, although I'm addressing up to the age of 2021, everything we do has an effect on our life. You know, one of the beautiful cliches and thoughts the true source gave me is the past predicts the present, and the present predicts the future. So if you were living in fear or doubt or bullied when you were young, 3 or 4, and maybe you're 50 or 60, you got the same challenge in your life. And this law says, whatever you fear the most, you bring into your life. Not to take advantage of you, not to harm you, but to say, I'm greater than this, because that's part of our life path. Think about that. I am greater than my image. I am greater than what anybody says about me. Even if it's positive, you're greater, or it's negative, you're greater. And of course, one of the most encouraging persons in your life are your mother and father. And mostly your mother, only because you spend more time with your mother. But your father is there too. Most fathers are, although there's a lot of divorces these days that are going on. But nevertheless, whether your parents are divorced doesn't mean they don't love you. Sometimes they don't know how to express it, which brings another important point that I want to bring up to all of you. And part of your life path is to express love. So for me, when I was growing up, my father said, men don't cry, real men don't cry. And so you cried as a child. And you were told that over and over again. And after a while, you didn't cry because you had to be a man. And I remember when my mother passed away, and I think I was 35. It took me 5 years to cry. But now I've learned a lot more. And crying is not a weakness, it's a strength, it's a release, it's an acceptance of love, an acceptance of empowerment. It's an acceptance that you're going on your path, that you're compassionate and you're loving. I've talked so many times about the greatest power of all is the energy of love. It's the greatest strength is love. What we do for humankind, what we do for another, we do it for love. And sometimes people do it for the love of money or success or recognition. I get that and I understand that. But the one thing we have to realize is on your path, on your life path right now, it's all about love. It's all about loving yourself, not in a haughty, egotistical way, but loving yourself. So you're looking at yourself around 21, 22, and you realize, well, you got certain gifts, and then you get a little bit ego entitled to it, and you can do more things, and you can be more efficient. And then what do we learn? Well, of course, when we go to college, big business tells you what you should take in college. So if it's computer science, software, whatever is the thing at the moment. And today it's rather varied, but we became that way and we learned that way. But what I want you to understand is that whatever your chosen field is, you're not married to it. But you didn't think about that when you're 20, 21, 22. You went out there wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, and said, I'm going to conquer the world. And you did. And that's really great. And then you searched for a relationship. Then you found a relationship. And then some of you had children. All this is in the background mirrored by your parents. I bet you didn't realize that. So it's a replay. In other words, everything that's going in your life that you appreciated about your parents, you're emulating. Everything that didn't go right, you're running away from. And in a sense, that's good and it's bad. Because once we realize that whatever went on with our parents is something we chose to observe and they chose to experience. So whether your parents are married or not now, or whether they're living or not, realize that they were the role model for you to learn. Sometimes it was painful, sometimes it was lonely, sometimes it was frightening. But we learn to grow by experiences. And I used to be in a lot of marketing and sales, and people would compliment me, and I always came up with this. I go, well, thank you. Don't tell me what I'm doing right, because I know what I'm doing right. Obviously, you like what I'm doing, I'm successful. Tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can improve myself, but tell me in a gentle way. And that's part of in life. You want to say something? You're waving your finger.
I do. I have a question. When we're growing up and our parents say, "Don't do this," like "Don't run, you'll fall," "Don't do this," whatever, and they give you like a negative result. They're trying to protect us because they love us, but they're also instilling fear in us, right? So isn't it when we get older in that age group they're talking about, that's already a subconscious fear that we have that we didn't even realize we had, right?
Right.
So um, you were also saying that we're stronger than we think we are. And would you just explain a little bit about what your mom used to tell you about what you could do and how yeah, I can't remember the terminology right now, but I think where I'm going with this is we are all stronger than our fears, right? We just
Right.
have to believe that. So it's like our faith has to be stronger than our fears, our faith in true source or whatever, right?
Correct.
Could you just address that a little bit more, please?
Sure. So when I was growing up, my mother said, "You can do anything, Michael. You can do anything." Well, you just accept that's my mom, right? And a few years ago, many years, this has been going on for many years, a light bulb went off. She said, "Wow, all the things that I've done in my life, I have a long resume, not to impress any of you, but it's long. And, my motto is, you don't know where you're going, you can't get lost. And I've done all these various things, and I'm sure there's people done much more than I have. But I suddenly dawned on me, wow, that was so ingrained. I was brainwashed in a very positive way. You can do anything." And I said, wow. And I looked at all that. So part of it became my belief system because you see, 94% of our thinking comes from our subconscious. So here's that thought: Michael, you can do anything. Michael, you can do anything. Michael, you can do anything. And became very positive. But I know a family, and she said to her daughter, who was 6 or 7, "I want to become a child psychologist." And the mother said, "You're not smart enough." I went, oh my goodness. And I said to her, "Why did you say that?" She said, "Well, she isn't. She's not smart enough. We know that. We accept it." No, I said, people can become overachievers. Very possible. And so what happened was she went through high school and she flunked out of 2 colleges and finally made it in the 3rd college because her mother said, "You're not smart enough." She didn't hear, "You're not smart enough to be a psychologist. Psychologist, you're not smart enough." These are the things that, I'm sure she meant well, the mother, but she damaged the child. So the child had to learn the hard way after making it through college and then going into business, finally learned how to be successful. But I'm sure it's buried somewhere in the subconscious. It's a thought that she has overridden. And she's had several marriages. So let's talk about that. And let's talk about the thoughts in the early years, how they control and manipulate our life. So when I say we're strong of that, words, words have power. But words are easily overcome if they're negative or easily enhanced. Just think back for a moment. And let's say there's something you wanted to do. And let's talk about, yeah, you wanted to shine your car and polish your car. As a kid, I had a car, and we always wanted our cars to look shiny. And what happened is for me, my father said, "If you get all A's, Michael, I'll buy you a car." Great, boy, I busted my toes. All A's, Dad. Yeah, now go out and earn the money. I'll buy you a car. Well, at that point, I could have been depressed. At that point, I said, "Yeah, I'll show you." I worked 3 jobs in summer, and I gave him the cash because I was 16 or 17. I couldn't own a car. I got a car, and my first car. And that's the most important thing we need to understand. I took what I call a negative and a doubt and turned it into honey. So the point is with all of us, we are stronger than our thoughts. Every thought is an illusion. They're just words. That's all they are. Remember fear, FEAR, false evidence appearing real. Right. Think about those things. And what I say to everyone, failure. Failure means success. It doesn't mean being a loser. Why can you say that, Michael? Well, the answer is very easy. Because you'll learn something. You never failed. It just didn't work. What if we said, well, Michael, you learned that this didn't work? Yep, they gave me knowledge. But now we use the word failure. And with that energy and vibration of failure, yeah, I guess I can't do it. That's the way you feel. But I want you to change the words that create blocks in your life into something positive. So fear is overcoming false evidence appearing real. Failure is success because you learned something new. It's really important. And there's no such thing as stupid. We all have gifts and we all have beautiful gifts. So perhaps you weren't a straight A and you didn't do the best in college, but perhaps you're a photographer and you have that eye for photography. Or perhaps you have a flair for writing, or you have a flair for meeting people, or you have a flair for dressing, or you have a flair be in real estate, sell real estate because you are a dream fulfiller. That's what you are as a real estate agent. In the old days, I was selling wholesale shoes and I fulfilled women's dreams with shoes. So they looked beautiful because I was on the women's end of it. So all these things, if we just switch our thinking 3 degrees, what's that mean? From a -1 to a neutral 0 to a +1, just 3 degrees. That's all. That's minute. Unless you want to make a Mount Rainier or Mount Kilimanjaro about it. Sure, your choice. But that's where I say we have strength to overcome anything. Because if we see the positive side of every challenge, even if you were bullied, made fun of, look at why they were. Perhaps you had a great gift of knowledge or math or whatever that they were jealous of, but you still own that wonderful gift you have. So part of what I want to talk about when we go to number 3 is your gifts, about your path of life. I know we're running down a little on time. Yes, we are. And so I'd like to thank all of you for being here, but I want to share something else. And that is, I want to share with you that my mission and goal is for sharing with everyone and show everyone how they are the solution and they can make a difference on this planet. And I'm talking globally, planetary wise. And to realize that they are very empowered to reconnect with the true source. The reason is so you can manifest your spiritual mission and goals. But someone has to open the door. And I'm probably one of many, but I chose this path. And I'll tell you, it's challenging. But the rewards for each one of us, not only for me, but for you, is phenomenal. Like the beautiful award and success that Tia Knapp had in life. So the rewards are great. And I award her with the tip of my hat and say, I honor you for everything you've done. So every Saturday, let me correct that. You're welcome. The second Saturday of every month, we do a mass consciousness healing. And in that mass consciousness healing, starts at 9:55 a.m. Pacific time, and it goes to 11:01 Pacific time. And what occurs is we're getting a little feedback to you. What occurs is when we do this, I give a little introduction, help you run some of the energy, and then it's done in silent. And about 3 to 5 minutes before, I bring you back into your bodies, if you left your bodies, and thank all of you. Tia, would you share that telephone number?
Absolutely. It's 202 926 1059. And
The access code is 125446 pound.
Okay, one more time on that. I'll make sure that it's all in the comments as well. It's that Saturday morning number is 202 926 1059. And the access code is
125446 pound. And using that same number that she just gave you, and if you would repeat it one more time in a moment, every Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 Pacific time, I have what I call a call-in. And that is you ask any questions on spirituality, and hopefully I can answer them. And then I deliver a 10-minute special, a 10-minute message. And there's 216 or 217. And she's going to give you first the number where you can participate. I encourage all of you to participate because you're going to feel a very loving energy that'll be emanating from the true source. And that call-in number is
202. Wow, we've got feedback. 926 1059.
one more time.
Okay, 202 926 1059. And the access code
Is 125446 pound. And it's the same number. I love doing it. And it's the same number as our mass consciousness healing. So I don't think we have to repeat it twice. But we have the, yes. But we also have, well, go ahead.
You go.
Okay. We also have a repeat, or all the messages. There are 216 of them. You can listen to the messages. And when you're stuck in traffic or bored, you want to feel motivated, turn it on. It will make a difference. And that number is
434 300 4170. And the access code
is 125446 pound.
One more time on that one. It's 434 300 4170. And the access code?
And the access code is, we'll do a good one, 125446 pound. I hope you enjoy our little fun in doing this. We do it all the time, but we have fun. But more importantly, we want you to have fun in your life and enjoy life and stop taking things so serious. So I want to remind all of you about this wonderful, beautiful book that T.U. Knapp has written. And this guy named Dr. Michael Gross, whoever he is, wrote the foreword. Healing the Holes in Your Soul by T.U. Knapp is an inspiration.
Thank you. And Michael wrote this book, The Spiritual Primer. See, Dr. Michael Gross. He's got a new book coming out. So we will put all of his contact information as well as mine in the comments so that if you missed any of the phone numbers or anything, you'll have them in there. And I highly encourage you to start with this before you go to that.
All right.
Because if it wasn't for that amazing man holding my book, there would be no my book. So start with this one. And is there anything else, Michael, that you'd like to add before we go?
No, I just want to say to everybody, thank you for giving up your time on Sunday. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much, because we hope the messages that we deliver are making a difference in your life. And we encourage you to pass it on and get other viewers to view this and listen to it. because remember, you are the solution and you can make a difference. And most of all, you are unlimited. Namaste, everyone.
Stay.
Take care. Bye-bye. I love you.
Bye. I love you too.